All right, so I am here making some progress on this piece. It's a very challenging one to paint because of all of the little nooks and crannies. My apron is way on the other side of the room and I'm not dressed, so I can't get it. So I'll just go without it. It's just paint, so this will be fine. And of course, there are a lot of areas where I got paint over parts. I'm having to do this in segments. So I start with painting the gold that's mixed with raw umber, and that's getting in places it shouldn't be, and that's fine because the black and the dark brown will overpower all of those spots. I'm just scraping right now to make sure it's not ridiculously lumpy. So I'm going to go back to mixing up the burnt umber with red and with black so that I can finish painting the brown parts. You have to keep looking at this from different angles. I see an area deep inside that I didn't get to that I've now got to attend to. And you're not going to be able to see where I'm painting, but I can, and that's good enough. So I'm going to go into that crevice there, and I can't even really stroke. I have to dot. And that's to cover up white areas because I need to make sure that whoever acquires this piece, wherever they turn it, they're not going to see uncovered areas of white. So that's really important. So now I have to take my time and put another coat on of this brown mix that I have. And again, this is black, Mars black to be exact, with primary red and burnt umber. The brand is Artist Loft that I get from Michael's. And I'm going in with brown because I've completed the work on the gold. And I have to go in carefully because this will overpower the gold very quickly. And then I'll have to go in and try to cover it again. So the key is to just take your time, move gently, and only touch the areas that you intend to touch. And with so many pieces of this intertwining, that was challenging, and it was time-taking, and it's why my glaze came out horribly, because I did not have that type of time to invest while I was at the studio, so everything was really pitifully sloppy, and it was just unacceptable. So now that I'm home, I can take my time and do it right. Ooh, remember that song? Baby, we can do it, take your time, do it right, we can do it, baby. Y'all might be too young for that. I don't even remember who sang it, but I know it had a banging beat, and I loved it. And you have to make sure that you are implementing a lot of hand control. So I usually try to brace my hand on something so that it doesn't start shaking or that I don't just start getting wild with the application when I don't mean to. So I have my pinky resting against the sculpture so that I can control my movements and the brush strokes. And even then I still tapped on to a part. I don't even know if I have the camera angled the right way so that you can see what's happening. But that's all right. When I get closer to completion, I'll stand it up and you'll be able to see what's going on. And in many instances, you're not even painting. You're not even pulling the brush along. You're pushing the paint down into the areas with the brush that you need it to go. You may not have seen that, but I just screwed up and touched in an area that I didn't want to, which luckily it's still wet enough that I'm just going to dip my finger into a little water and rub that right off, and it's fine. Even with doing everything you possibly can not to accidentally touch, it can still happen. And be gentle with yourself when it does, because that's just what it is, you know? Once again, sorry guys, I'm putting this right in your way, but I have to be able to see, so that hopefully I won't make this mistake a second time. So I'm not lifting the brush, I'm just pushing it along because I don't want to accidentally lift up and touch onto the gold part. I don't care about touching onto the black because that's going to get painted over. And as you know, that black is going to cover everything, dominant color. All I'm making sure to do now is have nice, even coverage everywhere else. It's a nice, thick coat of paint so that once I've completed this paint job and I'm covering it with Mod Podge, no gloss Mod Podge is what I bought recently, everything will look nice. Now, this is not a sculpture that was smoothed out to within an inch of its life. It still has some very rough qualities, some very primitive areas, and I'm so fine with that. My intention was not to get this perfectly smooth. It was to make sure I captured the vibe, the spirit, and the shapes that I wanted. And I did that. So I'm happy with this piece. And this is what I should have done all along. I should have brought this home with me and painted on it the way it needed to be painted on and given it the attention that it needed to have been given. Now I'm doing double work, you know? But that's because I'm learning. I'm new to this, not true to this. First sculpture posted on social media was January 10th of 2022. So that's how long I've been at it, which isn't very, very long. Feels like it's longer than it is. Spinning it around, spotting a good amount of areas that have gone untouched. There's a whole huge area under her arm that I've got to tap paint onto in order to get into those little spots. And those spots underneath like that, they're not going to require 2 and 3 coats because they, pretty much won't be seen. Also attending to bottom areas that I see still have some white on them. Making sure those are fully covered. While I've got it in this position, this is the time to do that. All right. Can you see that? Huge? Nope, because I've got a light. There is a huge area under here that's gone untouched since I started painting because I didn't have the towel out. I wasn't turning it around in this way. I was working on it while mostly upright, so there was a lot of stuff that I was missing. And now I'm seeing it, and I'm getting to tap in, which is good. And cover up all of those unsightly white spots. Some areas under here that I'm doing what I'm calling tap application. Those hard to reach spots where I'm not concerned about continuity or evenness of brush strokes. I just want the white areas covered up. So I just go in with the brush and basically tap the paint onto the areas that I need to cover. Right now I'm just carefully turning it so I can examine the brown Sista. From upside down. Now I need to attend to her interior. Going with this one, very slender brush. It's actually not even a quote unquote paintbrush, it's a nail brush. But I've got to get surgical with this, like Denzel in Training Day, and get into areas that are just too hard to maneuver with the other paintbrushes. Only problem with this brush is that I think it's a little too flimsy. It's bending before I can get in a solid application, and I'm trying to use it to just push the color into the areas, and it's giving me a hard time. Might be the angle, so let me just turn this around, see if I can see it from another vantage point. This is like playing Operation, trying to paint this one little speck of white in this really obscure little location. Okay, I locked into a spin move that did the trick. Got that brush in exactly where I needed it to go. Thank God, because that was starting to stress me. All right, I'm happy now. Now I can go in and cover that arm the way that I need to. All right, before I move on to the final phase, I want to stand her up before I move on to the black and see what we've gotten so far. And let me change the angle of the camera. whole area of the gold that I missed. Sorry, gotta put that in your way for a minute, guys, so I can see what I'm doing. Also allowed me to see an area of the brown that I did not cover because I couldn't see it from the angle I was working at. Now I do, so I'll just go in and fix it, clean it up. All right, so let's move this light. So this is what they're looking like right now. I'm not finished yet, but they are getting there. All right, so I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.